Welcome to Bamford Rose and another forum chat. This week it's a little bit timely. It's keeping your car on the road under hard times, keeping your car on the road to a budget. I don't think this matters what Aston you've got. It's not specific to V8 Vantage or DB9 really. First off, servicing. These cars do not need to be serviced every 12 months. Depends what mileage you do. If you go above 10,000 miles, then I'd say you need to service at that threshold. The annual service was sort of a factory stipulated thing, and it was well before your normal mileages were understood. If your mileage is 2,000 or 3,000 a year, then a 12-month annual service is a bit OTT. So it's pragmatic to spread it out a bit. But then come to sell the car, and that's always going to be used as a lever to drive the price down because it didn't have annual service. So I'd play it, especially our customers where we've serviced the cars to death and they come in and they just need the odd few consumable, and year on year we've got them on top of all the minor jobs that needed doing. When you've got your car evolved to that level of tip-top care and the mileage is 3-ish thousand, then you might as well service at the start of one season, so spring, and then service at the back end of the next season, winter, before hibernating. So you're really stretching your service out to a year and a half. So that's one measure that I'd take on servicing. Tyres, you can buy them yourself and have them sent to a garage, as opposed to paying for the garage to supply tyres. Obviously they're trying to look at markup because they've had to buy the tyre in. In this garage I prefer customers just to order from either Black Circles or Camskill. They're going to be the two cheapest places, and have them sent directly here. Cuts out the middleman and drives the price down for everyone. I wouldn't skimp on oil. Mobil 040 for V12, Castrol 1060 for V8. Brakes, I think all of the aftermarket options out there are no good. They've got some error state to them, and you're better off just sticking factory pads in, and at the mileage rates that most people do, be done with it. I won't sell anything other than than factory brakes. I'll never buy aftermarket. If a customer wants to bring them here to fit them, I suppose we will do. It just comes with a big disclaimer on the invoice that we've only fitted them. No liability going onward whatsoever. Looks of the car, detailing. Well, go and check out Detailing 2. Buy yourself your own detailing kit. Take pride and satisfaction in you did the job yourself, because detailing is very easy. Just needs to be OCD about it and have the right products. Check out Detailing 2, and links in the bio, and care for the car yourself. There are some repairs on all of the Astons, from a Vanquish, classic Vanquish that uses some Jag parts, DB7, Mazda rear lights. The new V8s, DB9, there's a lot of common parts out there with other manufacturers, and work with a garage that is proactive about supplying these parts, where they are, in all intents and purposes, a carbon copy of the factory part, just not in a factory bag and not come in with a factory price tag. Work with a garage that will implement these parts and offer you the saving. Big saving you can make: never ever take your car for service for franchise dealer. They are going to offer you a fantastic drive-in price, but that's just to catch you. Your drive-out price isn't going to be that, unless you just never had any of the work that they said do. Franchise dealers are great for purchasing the car and the first 3 years of servicing. That way, get the dealer to service the car, and come any warranty claim, they just can't wriggle out of it. After 3 years, franchise dealer, last place you want to go with these cars. They box fix. Take the silencer, for example. It's very common that the exhaust bypass valves break, the spindles crack, or the actuator arm fails. And this is very easy to remove the silencer and remake the spindle if you can, or if the spindle is beyond saving, if the bypass valve is beyond saving, cut out the bypass valve on the welded joints and buy the bypass valve direct from the people that made it and weld that into the silencer. You won't get a bypass valve fix or a new bypass valve from a franchise dealer because they just want to sell you the new silencer. Remembering that these valve failures occur because the part was costed down. The failures to the valve don't happen on the earlier pre-costed down valves. So, it's a bit having your cake and eating it here. The factory has costed the component down. It's now susceptible to some premature failures, and the fix to that is to sell you a new silencer. Work with someone, especially in the independent world, that doesn't box fix and actually does apply some engineering to fix stuff instead of just renewing stuff. V8 Vantage clutch repair. I'm coming to the age that most cars are knocking on 30, 40, 50k. If they haven't had a clutch before, they certainly will do. And in the past 2 or 3 months of this year, 2020, I've done quite a few clutches where the cars have driven in here slipping, and they literally struggled to be driven into the workshop, and they were slipping that bad. The aftermarket world, the independent world, is going to offer the twin plate clutch at something like 3,600 quid, including VAT. Dealer network is going to be charging more than that for a standard clutch. So get your clutch repair done outside the dealer network. A common thing I get asked as second opinion is a leaky front cover. Again, dealer's going to want to repair that as quick as they can, charge you lots of money for it. What you need to do is understand the leak rate, understand your mileage, and see if this is manageable within the annual service schedule. Clean off every service, because the leak rate was low enough, the mileage was low enough that the volume of oil on the underside of the car didn't saturate the exhaust system and start smelling of burnt oil, and didn't saturate the engine auxiliary drive belt. So again, this is another thing that can be maintained rather than fixed. Flashing TPMS error light. Well, okay, the sensor's probably depleted all of its battery, and dealer's going to want to charge you 150 quid for each sensor, and then another exorbitant fee for fitting and coding. Places like us, which can do clever things on diagnostic systems, we can reconfigure the TPMS inactive, so you don't have to buy one of those silly TPMS defeat things that you plug in. You can just reconfigure the body control module TPMS inactive, and then you won't get the error message on the dash. Reality is that if you suffer a puncture when you're driving along, you're going to feel the puncture before the TPMS system alerts you to it anyway. Really, the TPMS system is only good when you start the car up for the first drive in the day, and overnight or whatever, you've had a puncture, the tyre's deflated, and it tells you about it before you drive off. But if you go around and just check each tyre anyway, then you can sort of do the checks to not need the TPMS at all. Door modules, another common problem. Either the window won't drop when you open the door handle, or it won't lock properly. Well, you can sort of get around this. You could disconnect the door module feature for window dropping and just set the window at a height so it clears the cant rail, but it provides an adequate enough seal. You can always lock your door with the key. These measures will get you around door modules if you didn't want to undertake the repair, which for a pair of them can be quite costly. Finally, give someone like us a call. We are going to give a pragmatic second opinion to everything, and it's not always doom and gloom and distress. There could be some trade ways out of it if the proper fix was not an option due to budget constraints at this moment. As always, I hope that helps you, and if you give us a like, subscribe, comment below, hit the bell for notifications, it really helps us out.